Well-weighted showdown live on ringside tonight. Hello there. The British and Commonwealth light welterweight champion Andy Holligan defending his titles against Ross HALE. This could be one of the best fights of the year anywhere in Britain. It's 20 months since the 10-stone belts were up for grabs. The final minutes ticking away to the first bell in Bristol, but this is well worth the wait. Put these fighters' records head to head and there's little difference between them. Holligan, a year younger, boasts one more fight and one more win. Each has lost just once. Holligan to the legendary world champion Julio Cesar Chavez, and HALE to Andreas Panay, who broke his jaw in the process. But undoubtedly the big difference is in the experience department. Holligan, the champion, he certainly knows how to wear the belt after defending the Commonwealth title 3 times and the British title twice. HALE has had to win no fewer than 3 eliminators to get this chance, and now he knows he really has to produce his very best to win this. My guest tonight is Barry McGuigan, I'm delighted to say. Evening, Barry. What do you consider the key elements to this fight? Well,
you've got Holligan's class. I believe he's fought at a higher level. He's fought the higher echelons of the light welterweight division. He's the better class opponent. The big question mark is, has he still got the ambition? Now, he's been to the top. He almost reached the pinnacle when he fought Cesar Chavez. Has he got it left in the tank to beat someone like Ross HALE, who's a very tenacious, tough fighter?
And from HALE's point of view, a long overdue chance.
Very much so, and you've got to ask yourself, how much has those 3 eliminators taken out of him, and how much has he got left in the tank? You bear in mind he's a year older than Holligan, so that'll be a tremendously interesting fight.
Well, the weigh-in today would reveal that Ross HALE is in the best shape perhaps he's ever been in, Barry. What do you make of his?
Absolutely. He's dried out to the bone now. This guy walks around at probably 11.5 stone, 11 stone 4. He's made 9, 13 and a quarter, so he's dried out to the bone. Look at him. Tonight he'll be probably 4 or 5 pounds heavier, but looks in magnificent condition.
Let's get the word now from the MC.
Ross HALE, 9, 13 and a quarter pound.
Well done, Ross. Okay, so you like the look of the...
Yeah, he's drawn out. He looks drawn around the cheekbones, but in tremendous condition, no doubt about it. Not an ounce of fat on him. Some of these professional boxers look fine athletes, fantastic condition. Now, you can see here that Holligan is not quite so sculptured as Ross HALE. A little bit softer, and an indication of that is the fact that, in actual fact, is actually over the weight here. He's marginally over the weight, and that's a big psychological advantage for Ross HALE. Disappointing the fact that Holligan came in half a pound over, and I'm sure he'll be upset about this. He's going to have to go and do something to get this half a pound off, but...
Let's just hear the confirmation of that.
7 stone and half a pound.
So, a little over the mark, as Barry suggested. Bit of work to lose the offending half pound. Back he
actually comes in 9 stone 13 and 3 quarters. No, he actually didn't lose half a pound. He lost the quarters of a pound, 12 ounces.
Yes, indeed.
Which obviously will take a little bit out of him. Will give Ross HALE the confidence that he's come in bang on the weight, and Holligan's actually missed the weight. He's actually overcooked it a bit.
On the other hand, Holligan is an experienced pro and perhaps used to dealing with little things to upset the rhythm on fight day. Liverpool-born Andy Holligan, not only the proud owner of a Lonsdale belt, he's always been a crowd pleaser. He loves to move forward and bang away at both head and body. 16 of his 23 fights have been won by knockouts, including 2 title wins over Steve Larimore back in 1991 and Tony McKenzie a year later.
Give Larimore credit, you know, he's under pressure, he's away from home, and he's like, he could give up now and people will still give him credibility for he's coming and fighting, but he's still battling away. Oh, he's come to a standstill now, Larimore.
Dow's got it, and Paul Thomas steps in, and Andy Holligan retains his title.
Larimore's hurt, he turned away.
And Larimore was hurt, he did turn away.
Holligan looks close to a stoppage victory here. And we're only in the 3rd round. This fellow looks to be improving all the time. He's jabbed well in this contest too. There's another left, and McKenzie again is reeling the gum shields out. 2 right uppercuts, and the referee says that is enough.
One of his best results perhaps so far. If anybody carries the torch for a hometown, it's Ross Hale on his own patch in Bristol tonight, a city that is far from being noted for its professional boxing tradition, but if Hale realises his dream tonight, he'll be putting his hometown on the map.
Ross Hale!
The Empire Gym, where Bristol-born and bred Ross Hale has been training for the biggest night of his career so far. He'll have 2,000 home fans to cheer him on against Holligan.
I've prepared well for this fight. I've done a lot of sparring, a lot of technique work. I think I'm in the best shape I've ever been in.
With 21 wins and only 1 defeat, Hale has some noteworthy victims on the record, including a second-round knockout of the Colombian Regino Cáceres last November.
Cáceres favouring the body, takes on a short right hand, puts Cáceres down, and I don't think he's going to get up from that. That looks like curtains. Lights out, good night. And it's a second round knockout for Ross Hale, and it was a short little right hand, but what power it must have possessed.
Next victim, the German Stefan Schramm.
Got Schramm in some trouble in that corner again. Digging shots to the body. How long will they let it go? I'm not sure they'll let it go much longer. And they're going to stop the fight as Schramm is a bloody mess going back to his corner. And Ross Hale gets his 13th knockout and his 20th victory as a pro.
Last time out, a sensational tear-up with Michael Driscoll, a grueling 7 rounds.
I don't think it's took nothing out of me. It was a very tough fight, but we both wanted to win. And I managed to win the fight.
Oh, left hook! He's got him this time. He couldn't take that one and stay on his feet, Driscoll. But in what shape does he get it? Oh, he's been stopped. Referee Paul Thomas stops it, and Ross Hale has prevailed here.
That victory earned him a shot at Holligan's British Championship. What does he make of the opponent now?
Domestically, I think he's one of the best fighters in the country. He's proven himself against domestic opposition, and I think he's a very tough man, yeah. I respect him. I think Andy Holligan's going to come straight at me, trying to knock me out. So I've been practicing a bit on technique, skill, and I'm going to try and box him.
Hale's fought with his heart, not his head in the past, but now he feels his time has come.
I believe I'm going to win the fight, and that's it. I don't care how I win it, I just win it.
Any neutral would surely agree that he deserves this big chance, Ross Hale, but Barry, does he have a punch to worry Holligan?
There's no doubt he's got a punch, but so had Tony McKenzie. Never took a fazzle out of Andy Holligan, just never even blinked when he hit him, and he knocked him spark out, and he beat him. You know, he didn't knock him out spark out, but he beat him up so badly the referee had to stop it. I don't think he's got the punch to worry Holligan. What he can do is outwork him, and as I say, a big question mark is whether or not Holligan's still got the ambition. I think he has, and I think he'll win tonight.
Really? We mentioned the Chavez experience. Now, with Holligan, maybe one wonders that he was taken out of that fight in time so that the damage suffered wasn't that severe.
Absolutely, that's the most critical time is to get the guy out before he takes a beating. Now, he was being ground down by Chavez, who is an exceptional fighter, as we know, but he wasn't floored, and he didn't suffer the psychological disadvantage of having been absolutely flattened on the floor or stopped by the referee. The corner pulled him out and saved him. And I don't think it will have had a lasting effect on him. In fact, I've seen him fight since then in the Olympia, and he was as sharp as a razor. His body punching was brilliant. I don't think it has taken that much out of him. I think people are adding too much emphasis to that.
We'll hear from Holligan in just a moment or two. A big fight for you live here on ringside tonight. Hale against Holligan. Titles on the line. Our venue is Bristol, and the support there, not surprisingly, is solid for the local hero, Ross Hale. The bookies prefer Holligan. They make him a 15-8 on favourite. Hale, an 11-8 outsider of the two. The draw, it could get you rich if you've backed it. 20-1 against the draw here. We'll know the outcome in a few minutes.
Watch me, Ross Hale, fight Andy Holligan. It's going to be a great fight.
You're watching Sky Sports.
An action tonight on ringside, the British and Commonwealth light welterweight title showdown live from Bristol. I'm delighted to say my guest here in the studio, the one and only Barry McGuigan. Now, the big question must be whether the champion Andy Holligan still has the motivation after that defeat we talked about against Julio Cesar Chavez. He's going to need it to deny a hungry challenger in Ross Hale. Surely, after Chavez, the Liverpudlian should have few fears about Hale, but he could underestimate him on the night. We caught up with him about 3 hours ago.
Andy, you're defending your titles again tonight against Ross Hale. The question that people have been asking about you in the build-up to this is how motivated is Andy Holligan post-Chavez?
Yeah, I'm very motivated for this fight. People like to give me down the banks because of my last fight, and I think like I'm unfinished because I didn't put up a good show. But all that was just wasn't fit for the fight, simple as that. But I'm fit for this one. I'm ready to go.
You're fighting Ross Hale. He's developed the reputation as something of a puncher. It looks as if it's going to be a really exciting fight. Is that the way you see it?
Yeah, it looks that way. I think he said he's going to try and box me, but there's no way. I think he's just going to get dragged into a fight, and that's when I'll catch him.
So it sounds like Holligan has come prepared to do his job, doesn't it? Venue tonight, Bristol's Colston Hall, and on the line, just to repeat, the British and Commonwealth light welterweight titles. Our commentary team, the big team, it's Glenn McCrory, the former world cruiserweight champion, and hello and good evening to Ian Dark.
Good evening to you, Paul. Yes, it's a great atmosphere here in Bristol, which has never had a championship fight before. But when you think back over great domestic scuffles over the years, you've had the Minter Finnegan series, the Green Stracy series. There's an expectation within the trade, Glenn, that this could be one of those classics that will be talked about for a while to come tonight.
Well, I've waited for this fight for a long time, and on paper it looks as if it could live up to any of them. You've got your two great fighters, both of them want to win so badly. You've got Holligan, who's coming off a good challenge against Cesar Chavez. How's he going to react after that fight? And what's Hale going to be like in front of his home people? We know he bags of guts. So everything's there to be a really good fight.
Holligan half a pound over the limit originally at the weigh-in. What do you read into that?
Well, his people said it was just the scales. He said he had been perfect all the time. They said, maybe just a disparity in the scales to the ones he was using. But they didn't seem worried. They were raging about how well he looked in training. So all set for a good one.
Should be very good. It's a wonder, that Bristol has never had a British Championship fight in the past, let alone a British champion. But a really big attendance tonight. Hardly a spare seat to be had in the Colston Hall. They're paying between 15 and 40 pounds for the privilege of being here tonight. Ross Hale, who sold 20,000 pounds worth of tickets for his fight on the Lewis Bruno bill, that was against Carlos Chase. This Ross Hale, he's got a lot of support here. How much of a factor is that going to be, Glenn?
Well, we've seen what he's like in front of his home crowd before. He really reacts with them. He's got bags of bottle, and when they get behind him, he's very, very hard to beat, and he can really pull it out. And I think tonight he may have to pull something special out. It's going to be a very tough fight.
Well, the fighters now about to make their entrance here. Ross Hale will come out first. He's the challenger for the title. So why don't we go backstage as the two gladiators prepare to enter the ring. Here's Ross Hale then, quoted as the 11-8 against outsider for this fight, but he's on a run of 6 straight wins, during which he scored 15 knockdowns. The former Bristol dustman, and among his fans here tonight, who are people who used to be on his round. Apart from all his old school friends, he's become a big name in this city, and they've waited a long, long time in the West Country to produce a British champion at any weight. Dean Powell there, overseeing the last-minute preparations, and Chris Sanagar, who manages Ross Hale, was a really exciting value for money, mostly undercard fighter about a decade or so ago. It's his big night, all right. He's had to go through 3 eliminators to get this chance, Glenn.
He has, and he's really had to work for it. But I think he's very, very glad he's finally here. This is his big opportunity. I'm sure he's going to give everything he's got. He's certainly, the crowd's fantastic. What an atmosphere.
fighting tonight for the British and Commonwealth light welterweight championships at 10 stone. And there, sneaking to the ring, is Andy Holligan, prematurely grey at the age of 26. Well, if you had to fight Julio Cesar Chavez, you might be grey as well, I guess. Fought the great Chavez last December. Holligan had to retire on his stool. He was biting off too much there. The big question here is how much has that fight taken out of Holligan? What has it done to his ambition? He seemed pretty relaxed and up for it to me when I met him earlier on.
Ladies and gentlemen, live on Sky Sports ringside, we welcome viewers throughout Great Britain to the Colston Hall in Bristol for tonight's main event, sponsored by Bristol Car Supermarket and promoted by Frank Maloney and Chris Stanigar, who proudly present a contest of 12 3-minute rounds to decide the light welterweight championship of Great Britain and the Commonwealth. Between, introducing in the blue corner, from Bristol, with a professional record from his 22 contests of 21 wins, 14 by KO and 1 loss, the welterweight champion of the Western area, the challenger for the title,
Well, Holligan will know from that reception that he is away from home here in a big way.
In the red corner, wearing gold trunks, his professional record from 23 contests is 22 wins, 16 by way of KO with 1 loss. From Liverpool, the light welterweight champion of Great Britain and the Commonwealth, making his 3rd defence of the title tonight, Andy Holligan. Today's weigh-in, HALE scaled 9 stone 13 1/4 pounds, Holligan 9 stone 13 3/4 pounds. Your officials for this contest, appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control, the steward in charge, Mr. Jim Paul, the timekeeper, Mr. Ken Honeyball, the referee, Mr. Dave Paris of London. Ladies and gentlemen, the light welterweight championship of Great Britain and the Commonwealth.
So the latest episode in a division which has only existed since 1968. The 15 champions include Dave Boy Green, Clinton McKenzie and Terry Marsh, who of course went on to become a world champion at this weight. Andy Holligan, who already has a Lonsdale belt outright, the Scouser. And Ross Hale from Bristol, with this very vociferous support here in the Colston Hall in Bristol City Centre. Hale, you'll notice in the purple trunks, is a southpaw, but Holligan's fought southpaws before and he's overcome them. He's only got that 1 defeat on his record, Holligan, and that was against the great Julio Cesar Chavez last December.
And when you've been in front of those 60,000 screaming Mexicans, you shouldn't be worried by this sort of crowd.
You can see is much the taller man, 5 feet 9 inches, against Holligan's 5 feet 5 3/4. Should have a reach advantage, but Holligan is a walk-in pressure fighter, a hit or be hit kind of slugger. But on the way in, he could face problems from Hale, who has developed the reputation himself of being a puncher.
In the early rounds, I think Hale's got to try and keep it at distance. He's got to use that southpaw jab and try and pick Holligan off on the way in.
Holligan is dangerous if you let him into range. He is the kind of fighter who tends to wear opponents down, or has to, at domestic level anyway. Holligan, who's now managed by Frank Warren, having previously been with Barney Eastwood and Mickey Duff. He's doing the rounds. Good punches from him, the right uppercut, which is a bit of a trademark punch of his.
Yes, he's doing quite well. He's managed.
Oh, left! Has got him down! Holligan is down from a left hand in the opening round, and everybody is off their seat here. It was almost a flash knockdown. He was up again, but he's rocked. Oh, Holligan's in trouble in the opening round. HALE could be on the verge here of something pretty sensational. The fans around me are going absolutely potty, and this HALE obviously packs a real whack, and Holligan is in desperate trouble in round one. He might not even get through it.
Holligan should be trying to grab a hold now, but he's not. He's just trying to fight back.
Well, there's the clock counting down, bottom right of your picture. 35 seconds to go. It'll seem like an eternity to Andy Holligan. He nearly had him down the second time as well.
The shot's still going in from HALE. He's picking his punches.
He looks so composed and focused, doesn't he? Ross HALE. Oh, he's staggered him again. Holligan, luckily, avoided 3 or 4 of the others. He still had enough wits about him, his reflexes, to duck under the follow-up punches. Otherwise, that could have been curtains. What a start here. Goodness me. Holligan almost stripped of his titles in round one.
He did unbelievable to survive that round, and yet he never grabbed. His survival instincts were just to stand in front and try and bob his head, which he managed to get through it.
Let's have a look at this knockdown. It was the left hand, I think, that did it.
It was a very sharp punch. Just when he was in a little bit of trouble, Holligan had him pinned on the ropes and a beautiful straight left hand.
He just turned the punch at the last moment, didn't he, as well?
He did. He really got all his weight in it. He was up against the ropes. He just moved one pace off the ropes and caught Holligan coming on. Right on the side of the jaw.
And there were several very meaty headshots to follow it. Ross HALE here must sense that if he keeps his composure, he can become the first ever British champion produced by the big city of Bristol. This is the second round. HALE in the purple trunks, remember, the challenger, trying to take away these British and Commonwealth crowns that Holligan has held now since 1991.
HALE's got to be patient. He's got to try and just catch Holligan with a good shot coming in. Not rush in and do anything silly.
Holligan has walked into a HALE storm already. Can the champion somehow claw his way back from that most unpromising of starts? Well, he did something there that not even Chavez could do to Holligan, didn't he? Put him down. That's a good shot from Holligan. He seems to have just recovered the minute stunning the power of good. But how long before HALE explodes another punch?
HALE's punches look very sharp. The jab's very good.
Left hand getting through too from Ross HALE. I was telling you, he scored these 15 knockdowns in his last 6 fights. That's a revealing statistic. And he won a real exciting thriller, a real war, as they call it in the trade, with Michael Driscoll to get this chance. Good tactics too from HALE, isn't it? Putting out that southpaw jab.
It is. He's keeping him in range. He's trying to catch him on the way in. But he's got to do that throughout this round of the fight. He's got to keep him on the end of that jab. He hasn't got to get mixed in a row with him.
Again from HALE. He's keeping his composure very well indeed. He got dragged into a toe-to-toe trading exchange with Driscoll in that fight. They weren't too pleased with him, Chris Sanagar and the camp, but this looks a much more composed performance from him, just losing his balance there. A bit of blood around by the nose of HALE.
His left hand's coming in very solid behind the jab. But HALE still rumbles on, moving his head well.
What HALE mustn't do is allow Holligan to start getting in range and then bustling him up close and starting to land those damaging little uppercuts and body shots. Nice sharp little punches, doubling up on the jab. Good comeback round for Holligan there. Welcome back. There's Andy Holligan in his corner. It's his first fight under a new trainer. He's moved to George Vaughan and the Powerhouse Gym in Liverpool. He's been with Vaughan for 8 weeks now. The big problem with Holligan really is once you fought a fighter like Chavez, do you benefit from that experience, or having climbed that mountain, is it hard to go back to the foothills?
I think it's really how hungry you are. If you still have dreams that are to be fulfilled, then you're still hungry. But if that was your mountain, then obviously you're going to slip down from there.
Still young enough, at 26, Holligan. Hale just 4 months older. The records too very similar. Holligan 22 wins and 1 defeat. Hale 21 wins, 1 defeat. Things just settled down a little bit after that dramatic start to the contest with Holligan down in round 1. That's a good left uppercut from Hale.
He's boxing very well on the retreat. Good counters from Hale.
Vastly improved Ross Hale, and he's come back well after breaking his jaw against Andreas Panay back in January '93.
Well, this is an educated performance from Hale. Good defense work, moving well, sticking out the jab well, but he hasn't got to get caught on them ropes too much with Holligan.
For the moment, Holligan's head seems to have cleared. Hale did just about everything except win it in that opening round, didn't he? Oh, he's got him again! He's got him again! Holligan is... How did he stay up from that? He almost went down, he almost touched down. That was remarkable resilience from the champion. But the writing's on the wall here, I think. Oh, he's got him again! And he's stopped! And Bristol has its British champion after so long of waiting. The crowd are trying to get into the ring. We have mayhem with security men, but somewhere in there, Ross Hale can celebrate because he is the British light welterweight champion after a display of power hitting that Andy Holligan could just not cope with. It's a triumphant night down in the West Country, and they are going absolutely potty around us, but I'm glad to say it's all very good-natured, Glenn.
It is an educated boxing display. He did everything right. He boxed on the retreat, but what dynamite punching, what dynamite counter punches. The left hand, and when he got Holligan at the end, he didn't let him off the hook. It was a tremendous display. He really showed an experienced head.
It means an awful lot to the people down here. Now then, let's just see how all the trouble started again in the 3rd round.
Just as Holligan coming on then, good counters, and with such a lot of power in them. There's a big right hand, and he went down there, he almost squatted on the floor, but he didn't touch the floor. So he still had some strength in his legs, Holligan. But here's the shots that finish it. He's really planting his feet, Hale, big punches.
And Holligan is the fighter with a reputation of having a good chin as well.
A chin that Julio Cesar Chavez could not crack.
We don't want to go too over the top with things, but if Hale has that kind of power, I think he can go quite a long way.
Well, on this performance, he can go all the way. A very good performance.
We knew they were both punchers. We knew neither of them would take much of a backward step. I don't think any of us realised that HALE hit quite as hard dynamically as that. That was, well, a stunning performance from him.
But what a good boxing display as well. You know, he let himself up to the knockout. You know, a lot of unexperienced fighters could have got carried away from the first knockout and burned themselves out, but he went back to his boxing and landed with good shots again before the finish.
Let's hear the official announcement from Mike Goodall, shall we, somewhere in there.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 1 minute 59 seconds of round 3, the referee has stopped the contest. Andy Holligan in no position to continue. The winner and new light welterweight champion of Great Britain, Ross HALE.
Well, he was saying in the build-up that he went to church to pray. His prayers have been answered. And it's a marvellous moment too for the whole Chris Sanagar camp, isn't it? They've got a rising little camp up here, down here in the West Country. Amir is there, the conditioner, who's been brought in from Iran as well. And they're going to have the most marvellous night here. And the people who've paid £40 for their ringside seats have really enjoyed it. You can see the people here just crowded around the ring here. They all want to get in there. Luckily, sense has prevailed. We haven't had people trying to be silly.
No, the crowd's been very good. Were they excited? The surge that they came forward, we thought they were going to travel all over us. It's been like a world title night in Bristol.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you'd like to show your appreciation. A very good loser. A young man who's been a very good champion of Great Britain, Andy Holligan.
What about Holligan after that defeat against Chavez? And this is a more damaging defeat for him at domestic level against Ross HALE. It might be hard for him to rebuild from this point.
After Chavez, obviously he had plenty of places to go, but after this fight, it's going to be hard for him to come back. You know, he's had two big knocks, and it's going to be difficult for him to regroup and get the hunger for the game again.
Well, he trained superbly for this fight. Ross HALE, he'd never been in a 12-rounder before. In fact, he'd never been beyond 10 rounds, but he'd been working with his stablemates, Dean Cooper, Glenn Catley, Sean Baker, in the build-up to this one. He came in just right at 3/4 of a pound inside, and that's a proud picture for the camp there. Dean Powell in the background as well. Chris Sanagar on the far side. There he is on the right of the shot. He was always exciting to watch, and HALE tonight was just as exciting. He was a young man who lacked self-belief at first. He became flustered early in his career, they said. They've tried to make him more streetwise. He's certainly learnt an awful lot. And tonight, he is the British and Commonwealth light welterweight champion. And Bristol is a proud, proud city as a result of that.
I just want to thank you for everyone turning up and everyone that's supported me throughout my career and believed in me. Thanks to all for coming down. Grand job, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the light welterweight champion of Great Britain, Ross HALE!
Well, I think he could become the Lord Mayor after that. Ross HALE, he's winning every popularity contest around this Colston Hall. It's been a memorable night down here, and at the end of it all, Ross HALE has stopped Andy Holligan, ended his 3-year reign, and Bristol has a British champion at last.
Thanks very much to Glenn McCrory and Ian Darke, live in Bristol, in a very passionate environment down there. Simply a dream come true for a young man who's had to work hard to get his share of the spotlight. How did you read the performance, Barry?
Oh, absolutely sensational performance. He raised his pace completely. He boxed brilliantly. He stuck to his tactics. He said that he would box and he wouldn't get it drawn into a fisticuffs with Holligan. He done that exactly. He boxed brilliantly and he just took him apart. And I have to say that the whole trade didn't give him a chance. Neither did I. I thought Holligan would be too much for him. He surprised me. This kid's going places, and that's a tremendous performance by him. You know, he's got Valerie Kayumba, European champion. He could go straight for a world title fight with either Chavez, Martin Kage, Jake Rodriguez or Zach Padilla, who's the WBO champion. There's a number of fights out there for him. British champions have been known to fight directly for the world title. But that performance tonight was absolutely sensational. He done what Chavez couldn't do. he knocked him to the floor. He boxed with great finesse. It was great to watch him. He's not a defensive fighter. He's not a boxer. In fact, I've rarely ever seen him stand and circle the perimeter of the ring. That's what he done tonight. He allowed Holligan to come on. He used his oncoming weight to propel himself onto and make his punches even harder. That first left hand was a beaut, right through the guard, hit him right on the point of the chin, and that was really the beginning of the end for Holligan.
Here we go.
He never quite got over this. Now just watch this shot. Straight through the middle, hit him right on the point of the chin, turned the head, snapped the head around, and shook his senses. You actually see me hit him on the right-hand side of Holligan's chin, and that was really turned the head around, as I say, and he never quite got over that.
Now, has Holligan been surprised by the power coming at him here in this fight?
No doubt about that. He thought he could draw Ross Hale into a slugfest, which would have suited him because he's shorter, stockier, and apparently a better puncher. Not tonight, but that was a brilliant performance. He's converted me. He's got a lot of things open to him now, and he's a vastly improved young man as a boxer and a fighter.
Holligan really almost didn't make it through round one, did he?
Yeah, he was very lucky to get over the first round, and you said to me between the rounds, will he be able to shake this off? I said, the way he looked there going back to the corner, it didn't look like he was going to be able to raise the pace or, snap himself back into action again or shake the cobwebs. And he came out in the second round here and done exactly the same thing again. And in my opinion, didn't dominate it the way he won the first, but boxed superbly.
More analysis from Barry in just a moment or two, but the happiest man in the whole of the west of England is the new champ, Ross Hale, and I think we can get a word with Ross now, and it'll be Ian Darke talking to him.
And here he is, the new British and Commonwealth light welterweight champion, Ross Hale. Just tell us, first of all, Ross, what that means to you after so many years of work.
Well, it just means so much to me, and I think it was more so because Bristol's never had a British champion. I'm the first, and it means the world. Everyone has supported me. I don't know what to say. I'm lost for words, really.
The support you had out there was fabulous. How important was that in just giving you that extra edge?
I think it was a more weight on my shoulders because I knew everyone was coming down to support me. But I think it lifted me when need be, and I just kept pushing forward. And I'm lost for words, really. I just did what I mean with it.
He's still trying to take it all on. Let's just have a look now at the first of the knockdowns in the opening round here. This really was a very good left hand.
Yeah, I caught him with a left to the right to the body. And jab, and then bang, left hand over the top, which we've been practicing in the gym with Chris. Sweet.
Did you think then at that moment that you had him, it was going to be your night?
No, because I don't think he's been down often. I knew he was tough, I could feel he was strong, and he was just going to get up and fight for it. It's a belt, and you just got to hang on to these belts as long as you can.
Apart from the dynamic hitting, you seem to be very composed in there as well. You weren't going to be dragged into a war as you were with Driscoll.
No, but Andy Holligan fights a different way to Mickey Driscoll. Mickey Driscoll just caught me a bit cold, and that's it, really. I'd just like to thank Sky for having me on, and Frank Maloney for promoting me, and Chris Sanagar and everyone that's helped me.
Well, no, don't thank us too much. It was our pleasure to show it. It was a volcanic performance. Let's have a look at the third round. Now, you almost had him down again. He did everything but go down. Just talk us through this. Round three.
Yeah, I caught him with a left hand first of all, and then I hit him with a right. He still didn't go, and I hit him with another left, and he was still strong as well. I caught him with a bang, another left. Yeah, game.
You've done something there that Julio Cesar Chavez didn't do.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a good fighter.
There we are. This is where the referee steps in. Now, these are the moments where you become a British champion.
Yeah, it's fantastic. He was all at sea, wasn't he? He had no defence. I think the referee was right to stop the bout.
Yes, I think there was no way back for Andy Holligan from there. And the crowd were going absolutely potty. They were trying to trample me underfoot at ringside at that stage. What do you think is the next plan? I mean, that was such an exciting and stunning performance that a lot of people watching at home, I think, are going to say, well, this fellow might be able to go all the way. What do you think?
I think I can go all the way, and I want to be known as one of the most exciting fighters in the country. That's what my aim is to be, yeah.
It's going to be nice tomorrow morning, isn't it? Because you're going to wake up and the headlines, not only here in Bristol, but I think across the country too, are going to say that Britain has unearthed an exciting fighter, and there might be a bit of money in it for you, I think, too, mate. There's somewhere down the road.
Yeah, hopefully some money, but it was all about the belt tonight, nothing else. It's just the belt.
Just say something as well about your camp, the Chris Sanagar camp here in Bristol, which is obviously a rising camp on the British scene. I mean, they've certainly done you proud, haven't they?
I can tell you, we got a strong team down here. We got all the right people training us. Amir, strength training,
punching power. Chris trains us really well, and I'll tell you, we're hungry down here we want some publicity, and they're all the same as me. They all want to prove something, and I just had to be the first to prove it. But they're a hungry bunch of fellows, I can tell you that.
Very hungry, and you certainly got some publicity and wrote a few headlines tonight. Congratulations. Enjoy your night.
Thank you.
Thanks to Ian and the new champion. Now, Barry, one wonders, in the build-up to this fight, he had an enforced good rest, didn't he, after the Mickey Driscoll fight? And I wonder if this actually has been a contributory factor in him looking so sharp and aggressive tonight.
Yeah, well, it was a different fight, as he said himself. Him and Driscoll, both Holligan and Driscoll fight different ways. Holligan is more, he likes to get up close. He's got power from a very short distance. He likes to get on top of you. Whereas Driscoll punches from a long distance. He's tall, gangly, a hard hitter too, and a difficult guy to fight at the best of times. But he handled both of those fights with great experience. But he seems to have risen above himself tonight. He's boxed like a veteran. He stuck to his game plan. He didn't allow Holligan to force him into a fight. Now, if we watch the finish to the fight again, you watch the third round, not one of these punches missed. His accuracy is quite incredible. You watch left hook, round. Watch this now. Every single one of these punches, right on the button. Bang. Yeah, almost put him down there, dipped. Now watch. Right on the button, every single one of them. Pulls back out, and he finishes the fight again. Left hand, left hand, right hook. Look, accuracy is tremendous. And you know, the one thing you do when you get a guy in trouble, you don't lose your composure. You try not to do that, because it's so easy to get carried away with that sort of emotional partisan crowd. You can lose your composure and miss your chance, miss your opportunity. But he boxed with superb confidence. He's improving all of the time.
What route would you advise him to take now into the higher grade? There's a European title to be won, and 4 versions of world titles out there.
He's been around a long time, Ross Hill, and he's had a lot of difficult fights, and you know, we all have a shelf life. And boxing it's a vicious circle. You've got to fight the good guys to get to the top, but in the process you're wearing yourself out. So it's difficult with the style that he has to hang around for too much longer. I'd like to see him fight Kayumba, because Kayumba is a veteran. He's the European champion. But there's no reason why, if he gets a world title shot, or if one of the champions are prepared to fight him in a voluntary defence, why he shouldn't go right in there and fight now. But my line would be to go and fight Kayumba first, win the European title, and then get straight in there and fight for the world title as soon as possible.
And how much of a payday would that guarantee him, the European
championship?
Well,
I would imagine the European title would get him. With his exciting style, he's good TV. He fights with an aggressive style. He has this sort of style to excite people, and so therefore I'm sure Sky will be chasing him. He'll, I would imagine, 50, 60 grand for the European title, and possibly 100 grand for the world title.
He's obviously the sort of a fella who's good for the sport of boxing as well. Before we move on, we should just mention that Andy Holligan in his day has been an excellent servant to this game, hasn't he?
Andy Holligan is a lovely fella, a tremendously good guy, tremendously good for boxing, trains, dedicates himself completely to the game, and was wearing the badge of the PBA. Thank you, Andy. And he's a lovely fella. I don't know where he's going to go from here. This is a pretty devastating defeat for him. He's obviously going to reconsider his career and decide what he's got to do. But he's been a tremendous representative for our sport of boxing.
Did that performance look like a fella who should really now think about stepping to one side?
Well, I've always said before, with that style of fighting, you can't change. I mean, if you were a defensive fighter, you could always try to become aggressive, and you would be able to come back. With an aggressive style like that, it's always difficult to turn it on again and to be able to get back your old form. I would say that he's got to seriously consider his future here, but there's no reason why he couldn't have another couple of comebacks and possibly fight for the title again. That's entirely up to him.
He's been an excellent battler, and no doubt it'll be in his thoughts, but overnight it'll be Ross Hale who enjoys himself the better. More action to come from the Coastal Hall Bill in Bristol tonight. Chris Eubank we'll hear from in a while as well. Mr. Eubank gets the chance to tell us why he thinks he can handle a world title fight every 6 weeks for a whole year.